Good afternoon, Ram Sundar. A warm welcome to you on behalf of APAC News Network. APAC, we are a media organization headquartered out of Noida, and we focus across government, healthcare, education, enterprise IT, and BFSI segments. So, primarily, today's discussion, what we'd like to understand about the various solutions and services, and we would like to talk about the security roadmap. So, maybe the best way to start would be if you can update us on the solutions and services on the VEDA portfolio currently available for the Indian market.
Thank you, Rajneesh. It's a pleasure talking to you, and it's really an honor to be on your platform. And thank you for inviting me for this show. Uh, Lovely to meet up with you too. I wish there were better times that we could have met in person, but nonetheless, it's glad to see you on video and also have this discussion. Uh, Veher, just to give you a brief about Veher. Veher is a 17-year-old company. Uh, we have we started off primarily serving the interest of national security organizations, and that's where we have bulk of our solutions, and that's where we've been working on for the longest part of our journey. 3 years back, we decided to expand our portfolio onto the enterprise side, and that's how we began our journey into the enterprise security side. Uh, to give you a brief about what we do. So basically, we have a single product. It's a common operating platform which delivers a solution both for national security and enterprise security. And the beauty of this platform is that it has been built on a robust it has been built using robust algorithms of artificial intelligence and machine learning in order to able to give the latest and the best contextual information that the customers could use and act upon, whether it is on the national security side or the enterprise side. The second part of this platform is the ability to scale and capture data at very high speeds and petabytes of data. I think that's really our unique differentiation is our ability to capture high speed traffic, very high speed traffic at, at petabyte scale. And we've got a lot of our customers, both in India as well as outside India, who actually capture petabytes of data and manage that data over a period of time. That perhaps is our unique offering that we give. Now, so it's a robust and a modularly expandable platform that we have built. Now, this platform is what we use for both the enterprise as well as the national security side. Now, coming back to the national security side, we've got where the crux of it, we've got various solutions on the national security side. We start off with the plain IP monitoring solution. We monitor every traffic that is coming in, and we analyze the traffic from the source from which it has come, and also depending on whom they want, because there are petabytes of data, and we want the user or an organization to go through and search for a particular mail ID or a mobile number, and that with historical data, it becomes very, very difficult and time consuming. What we do is make, because of our artificial intelligence and machine learning technology, we are able to search that number, get that intelligence out of the content that is there, and give it to the user in a much more uh, comprehensible way so that they can take necessary action. Now, the the second thing that we do is satellite communication interception. Now, this is again very, very prevalent in the borders where governments work with multiple satellite medium, and we are able to capture data from these multiple satellite communication systems and are able to again analyze the communication as and when it is required. We would also be able to absolutely be able to tell you to some accuracy, obviously, because a lot of depends upon the conditions at that time. But we normally are able to also pinpoint where exactly the GSM satellite or the particular satellite phone is located. So if one were to track the adversary, particularly on the national security side, this becomes a very, very important thing. A reasonable amount of accuracy is there when we detect these solutions. Uh, Now we also do a lot of data capture from undersea cable, which or fiber traffic, which is pretty high speed traffic that is captured in real time and available for analysis as and when required by the agencies. This is so we've got four solution sets over there. One is the IP monitoring, the second is high speed traffic, fiber traffic monitoring, we've got the satellite phone interception, and the third is a fusion interception, a fusion traffic analysis. Now, what is a fusion traffic? You've got organizations may have traffic coming in from multiple sources. We could actually get that into a single unified platform and and actually make analysis of it from where all that person is communicating. He could be using an IP channel, he could be using a satellite, he could be sending an email, and all this, if you were to do from disparate sources, it becomes very, very difficult. So the Fusion platform that we really built can actually ingest content from various communication media and analyze that in real time, and also try and connect the dots between if some adversary is communicating on a particular medium, is that communication also, or is he also using other other medium to communicate something else which is connected to this, and connect the dots. So that's what we do on the national security side. Now, 4 years back, as 3 years back, as I said, we've also moved into the enterprise security side. Now, we predominantly have two solutions on the enterprise security, which is the network detection and response and the network forensics. The network detection and response and network forensics are two very established categories in the global security market space. And what we what we really do is capture high speed of traffic that is flowing within the enterprise, capture every single bit of traffic, look at anomalies for this traffic. Now, the use of an NDR solution is that uh, you and me are part of the same organization, or we are different organizations, and we communicate across on a daily basis. But there is a set pattern of the amount of data that flows between us on an average. Suddenly, one fine day, there is a spike. That's an anomaly. And that's what an NDR solution is supposed to do. In real time, capture the anomaly that is coming out within the network. Now, there could what is unique about our solution on the NDR space is our flexibility to deploy. We look at a full packet capture solution, or we could also look at just flow data. Now, that gives organizations the flexibility to deploy. Full packet capture works very well when you're deployed at the data center. But if I were to deploy in a large bank or an organization which is geographically spread out, and if I were to do the full packet capture across all the locations across the country or the globe, I would be hogging a lot of bandwidth. So that's why you would need a dual approach to deploy the solution. So you could have a full packet capture because you want to get analysis of everything that is coming to your sector. But at the same time, we want to also kind of see what are the traffic flows, patterns between uh, the east-west communication, as they would say in enterprises, from one endpoint to the other. And that's why you look at flow data at the endpoint level. So that way we are able to cover the entire organization, yet not miss out any packet. Because if I were depending only on one methodology, I would obviously not be able to give you uh, more accurate information for you to take necessary action. Uh, there are on this NDR platform, there are a couple of other very cool things that we also offer. Uh, besides the scale that I spoke to you about, we also have port agnostic. Now, for example, you have a certain port on which you communicate. HTTPS traffic is communicated on a certain port, but an adversary could do everything and anything that is possible. So he could actually just change the port, which means your security mechanisms will fail. And what Weher brings to table, and this is perhaps the biggest value that we bring and biggest differentiator as compared to our competitors. We look at we look at every traffic from every port, and even if it is a non-standard port, we will look at the traffic and be able to tell you if there is an anomaly in the traffic, so that you could take necessary action. Uh, that's a very cool thing that we offer, and the biggest value is obviously the risk, a drastic risk reduction posture in the posture of the enterprise security. Uh, there are a couple of other functionalities that we also do. For example, there is if there is an attacker who has a command and control established, he might even establish a covert channel. We would be able to detect that private VPN or a covert channel that is being created in order to transfer data outside the organization, and that's again very unique to what Wayhead does. So, in terms of the NDR product, uh, we do believe that we have a solution uh, that is absolutely the best. We do compete with the best of the breed, and we do have very strong differentiators that add a strong value to our customers. The other solution is the network forensic solution, which is or the packet capture. Now, this becomes very important for organizations because if there were a breach, and you know that an average time to detect a breach is something like about 279 to 280 days. Now, and the time it takes to reconstruct the breach is because of the non-ability to have historical data that has flown in. And that is what network forensics or packet capture does, is the ability to capture every data and be available for the experts to come in and try and do an analysis. How did that attack happen? To recreate the attack framework and know from where did the attack come in, so that they are much better prepared in terms or much better prepared in enhancing the security posture of the enterprise. So packet capture becomes a very important solution should there be a breach. And our NDR framework obviously encompasses the network forensics piece because we do a full packet capture there. So that's about a solution set that we have.
Okay. Thank you. That's quite comprehensive. I'll take up two areas from here.
Yep.
One, you mentioned about that capturing data and that too in a high traffic and
Yep.
analyzing that data. So, one, my question is analyzing that data and capturing a humongous amount of data in petabytes, where you are saying, and then
Yep.
analyzing them. There should be certain modes of standardization of the data, which would allow you to do a better analysis of the data.
Yep.
So, how is that standardization procedure done? That is one part of the question. And the second part is more current relevant. If we look at the last 1.5 years, during the pandemic, what has happened is with most organizations doing work from home. So we have seen lots of heterogeneous new devices coming into the system network, and there is a chance of vulnerability of these devices once it's in the network. And when you are doing the both the network detection and the forensics, as you mentioned, how do you ensure that this heterogeneous devices which are in the network now, how would you ensure the security is maintained in that case?
Okay. So I'll answer the second question first and then come back to the first question. Now, our platform is being built. You absolutely rightly said. So, and as I said, one of our biggest differentiator, which I also didn't tell you, is when we look at traffic from the endpoint. We look at all kinds of endpoint, and we operate in we are a platform agnostic or a heterogeneous platform, uh, in which case we are able to ingest data from multiple sources, whether it's Android phone or whether it's an Apple Mac laptop, or even IoT devices or an OT device. And that's something very, very cool, because what we need to realize that today in the large enterprises, whether it's uh, the IoT framework is really becoming part of the CISO infrastructure. Now, how do you get visibility of that? Now, there could be a very, very common situation that could be that somebody, the, under a normal circumstances, you should not be having too much of flow between an IP camera which is located in an office and your server. But suddenly you see that there is some amount of traffic, and that too, it is going to a server which is which hosts your financial data. That is an alarm bell, right? We are able to see the data in real time. And as I said, we are absolutely platform agnostic. No matter what the endpoint is, we are able to look at it. Now, we look at certain patterns through which we are able to get details about the endpoint that we do. Uh, as I hope that answers your second question.
Exactly. Yeah. So the
Now,
other question about the standardization of data.
so standardization, obviously, data is there, but what we look at is any data that is your IP data, any IP data, we are able to capture that. We look at the headers, footers, and also do a deep packet inspection. Both, we can do both. Uh, uh, we also do deep packet inspection besides header, and that's why we are able to get uh, minute details of what is there inside the packet. That's because of our ability to do deep packet inspection on the NDR
Okay.
side.
Another question I would like to ask, since as you mentioned, your offerings and the target segments, one is on the national side about the solutions you've talked about, and you also talked about the enterprise side solutions.
Yeah.
And I would like to talk about again the last 1.5 years during the pandemic, the way the both nationally as well as enterprises have been working. The security questions have become even more critical. So
Yeah.
fundamentally, how has the conversations with CISOs in case of the enterprises and in the national side, whoever is in the security in charge of security decisions, how has those conversations changed? Fundamentally, what are those changes in those conversations that have taken place in the last couple of years?
So there has been a drastic shift in the way security is looked at within the country itself in the last 2 to 3 years. I wouldn't say just the pandemic. Perhaps the pandemic has accelerated the way people look at security. First and foremost, security today has become a boardroom discussion. 3 years back, it was not a boardroom discussion. It was not a topic discussed in the boardroom at all. Today, that is becoming the what has really happened in the pandemic is because of the unemployment that has been created post the pandemic or during the pandemic. Post the pandemic, there have been a lot of attacks that have been happening in the country. Uh, Today, uh, people are coming back and are accepting that there are these breaches that are happening to them, and the breaches are not really restricted to the enterprises, but they have also gone into some of the new age startups because they own the IPR, and any breach is money for the hacker. So that is why breaches have gone down to even the smaller enterprises. So that's one more change that has happened on the pandemic side. But the biggest shift that I see happening on the enterprises is that one thing the pandemic has taught all of us is that work from home or work from anywhere as a concept is here to stay. That is, people would log in from anywhere that they are. They don't have to come back to office every day. Uh, for the last 4 months, business has pretty much come back to normal in most organizations, especially after the second wave of the pandemic. Uh, but most of the businesses today are operating offline. online. People are not really got back to office, but online work is going on. So that's become a reality. Now, obviously, these throw in a lot more challenges in terms of cyber security, in terms of cyber breaches. Uh, but therefore, I do believe that endpoint becomes a very, very critical this thing. And looking at traffic flows between the endpoint to endpoint is a very, very critical element of the entire piece, which is what we do very weekly. That is, we look at east-west traffic, which is endpoint to endpoint, besides the north-south traffic, that is endpoint to data center. Now, endpoint communication is very, very important. The second thing that is going to stay is work from anywhere. People will be allowed to work from anywhere. Now, the challenge is to look at traffic that is flowing for these people who are connecting from a coffee shop and connecting onto some company's application. So we should be able to look at uh, this. And the third thing that is also happening post the pandemic is adoption of cloud. The adoption of cloud is moving at a much more rapid pace. The government is also talking about the cloud of clouds, that is hosting a secure cloud and allowing people to access applications. So cloud is here to stay. Adoption is much more faster. So the challenges that open up along with the cloud are are different. The challenges that are opening up with work from anywhere are going to be different. Now, the entire the third thing that is also happening post the pandemic is the growth in the digital economy of the country. What does that mean to you? The perimeter has changed. The number of endpoints connecting onto your network could be much more. The boundaries of organizations are broken. You could be interacting with anyone sitting across anywhere. So therefore, that endpoint becomes a very, very critical this thing, and that's why you see a lot more growth in the networks. So these are some of the changes that are happening, and we've got to look at solutions that can actually help organizations look at traffic flows and be proactive. Try and be proactive at least in trying to detect any alerts across all these endpoints and
Okay.
networks.
The immediate question you mentioned about some of the places on the both on the national security side and the undersea cables. So more specifically, I would like to understand both on the national side and on the enterprise side, which are some of the verticals where you are witnessing maximum traction now, and what are those use cases in those verticals? Also, what you were mentioning, this more work from anywhere leading to more challenges in cybersecurity, compliances and conforming to these compliances has always been a security challenge. Now this
Yeah.
work from anywhere, how has the compliance and conforming to those compliances challenge changed?
So, absolutely right. That's a good question. In fact, compliance is another big driver for any of the security. This thing when we talk about India, there is the National Security Act, which we are all waiting for. When we talk about the banks, there is the frameworks that have been defined by REBIT. When we talk about international customers, GDPR is a big thing. Data privacy is very big wherever you go, whether it's in India or outside India. So, so there are these compliance organizations that are playing. But remember one thing: all the compliance is also an enablement for organizations to grow, to do business while they are growing, yet in a secure manner. So, it is not compliance is not stopping anybody from not working from anywhere. They are giving all the conveniences for organizations to spread their boundaries wherever they want to. What what they are doing is just giving a framework which organizations could adopt so that they are operating in a much more secure environment. That is the only thing that these compliances are driving at. So So in fact, they become a driver for us. Thanks for the compliance. BFSI is definitely the biggest vertical for us. But that said, we also have other verticals firing for us, manufacturing eh, or even the some government organizations have deployed our national security solutions, or the utility companies. On the on, on the national security, it's very difficult for me to pinpoint organizations, but then no rocket science. In every country, there are only a handful of agencies or departments who have the authority to look at these solutions. Uh, Obviously, with one more solution that I really forgot to mention, which is more of a telco compliance solution, which was more specifically for the telcos. Uh, the government, for example, mandates the telecom that they should be able to pull out call records, or call communications of any particular phone as and when they want. Now, we call it a law enforcement solution, but that's another solution that we have, which we have again deployed with a few telcos within the country and outside the country. That is the ability to capture every single call record that is being generated, but nobody listens to it till the police or any of the agencies come back to the telco with a warrant or with the approval. So that's when the telco is mandated to give this data to the department at a very, very short notice. This is again a compliance driven this thing by the government, that all telcos who are actually looking at voice communication or even IP communication, they need to have such solutions. So that's a third solution that I forgot to tell you at the beginning.
Okay, so now we come to the business side of it. If we
Yep.
translate into the business side, specifically from a where perspective, what is the go-to-market strategy that you follow, both for the national security level and more importantly for the enterprise level? What sort of GTM initiatives you have, and how is the entire GTM structured?
So we are an enterprise play customer. We focus on the largest enterprises. We are focused on driving the problem areas for them and ensuring that the organization stays safe and secure. But at the same time, we are a channel leveraged organization. We have our own team focused on the largest customer, but we also work with the channel to ensure that we leverage the channel capabilities in order to deliver the right solutions to the customer and drive the security posture. One of the reasons why channel plays a very, very important role for us is, one is we are a product company. We have the IPR of the company. We know what our product does better than anybody. We have enough of resources to ensure that we work with our partners and customers to ensure the customers are satisfied. But when we talk about a security solution, it's not about me alone. I have to get installed in an enterprise where there are multiple security solutions that are deployed. And the real value can come when you actually integrate with others. There is no point of my giving that rich contextual information until I can integrate it with the SIM, so that an automated response could be generated and an automation of remediation can happen. If I were to block a device, for example, both you and me communicate on a daily basis as part of the same organization, and unusually high traffic is moving from my machine. So the alert should be able to go to the system administrator, and even if he is busy, he an automated response should be there that blocks my machine, and that can only happen by integration with the existing frameworks that organizations have deployed. So channel ecosystem plays a very, very important role because they do understand the ecosystem of the products and solutions that have been deployed in the enterprise, and they help us in understanding the value, which solution will offer the maximum value, how do we integrate, and they are the ones who integrate and support the customer on the field. Although the technology support, product support is all owned by us at the end.
Okay.
I hope it answers the question.
Yes,
And
perfectly.
on the partners, on the channel ecosystem, we work with the largest partners. No rocket science, any of the large SIs, we work with all of them. We work with some of the focus partners too, and We work with pretty much all the big names in the cybersecurity space.
Okay. One more thing which I'd like to understand is you mentioned about the need for integration with typically in an enterprise environment, there will be security solutions from multiple OEMs and working in different cybersecurity aspects. So this need for integration is there. As an organization strategy, how do you work it? Is it initially you mentioned you are technology agnostic also? Is it that whatever solutions an enterprise can already have, your platform will be able to integrate with them, irrespective of technology? Or do you typically work with other security solution providers who offer in complementary areas in a consortium kind of model and have a joint go to market with to the customers? So what strategy you follow?
So both. The answer will be both. It depends on a case-to-case basis. How do we integrate? As we said, we are a platform-agnostic solution, and our solutions we expose open APIs. So our partner ecosystem can take the APIs that we have developed and we expose and integrate it with using this API. They can integrate with some of the security solutions that have been deployed within the enterprise. The second thing that you said, forming joint go-to-market strategies, yes, we do. We do have joint go-to-market strategies that depends on account to account, opportunity to opportunity, and customer to customer. So we do work on both. We do work independently. We also work in partnerships, and we also are working towards the next level is trying uh, to work on a technology partnership with some of these OEMs, with some of these technology vendors, so that we have a product fitment at the factory level rather than on the field level. So that's another area that we have begun working on.
In terms of what about your manpower resources with the relevant skill set? Since so many areas, be it network forensics or network detection, and the other areas you mentioned, in terms of support and services, what sort of manpower resources you have with the relevant skill set to provide that support and services environment?
So one thing that is very common across the entire this thing is we are a common operating platform, which means the underlying code is the same. On top of this are the various point products and solutions that are delivered to various organizations. So the manpower, the engineering stuff is pretty much the same because it is the same platform. It is using the same algorithms that have been built. So that's also an advantage that the enterprise gets the benefit of scale that a government sees, and the government gets to see the security pa- pa- paranoid security of an enterprise. So they get to see the best of both the worlds. And what we leverage is a common operating platform. It's the common skills that are required to help us deliver the solution. So from a G team perspective, we do not have two different sales teams. We do have two different product managers, definitely, but from a sales team perspective or a delivery mechanism, it is pretty much the same team.
Okay, and one last question, what I would like to ask is if we look forward for the next 2 to 3 quarters, maybe,
Yeah.
what are going to be where's key focus areas that can be in terms of products or solutions, expansion, or business strategy, whatever, but what will be some of those key strategic areas?
See, uh, a lot of answers to your question would be actually, it's a fairly broad question that you've asked. And I'm sorry, I'm not be in a position to answer that right now because uh, there would be uh, there would be some NDAs required for us. Primarily because we do have, all I can say is that part of the growth plan for the next 4 years or next 3 years is definitely looking at a global expansion. We will constantly put in resources, and we are investing big time in engineering also. And one of the latest this thing is you would have seen that we've hired another director of engineering in the US, and so we will have multiple engineering centers, and our objective is to ensure that we continuously bring out the best of breed products and solutions that can help solve the biggest problems for our customers. So that will be the focus areas. Getting into what really will be the product roadmap, what are the new solutions that we've got to add. Yes, there is a product roadmap that we've already created, but uh, we are slightly paranoid about the same, and we do discuss that or disclose that to customers or anybody under an NDA. We slightly paranoid. I'm sorry for that, but please do appreciate that's something we are absolutely
I can
paranoid.
understand.
And similarly, on the giving you specific numbers of growth, it may not be the right forum to do that. But yes, we have a clear business plan for the next 3 years, and we are looking at a ramp up and looking at some number growth in numbers at an aggressive rate, both in India and internationally.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Lovely
Really
talking.
appreciate.
Lovely talking
And
to you.